Well, hello, hello. This is Rosa, rcgkreations. How you doing? I'm bringing to you today. Let me move you over just a tad. We have here a pork shoulder roast, and this is just gonna be a little quickie video of why would you want to trim the fat off a roast. Beef roast, you probably don't. I'm just using some scissors to cut it out. Hubby started this already for me. But also, are you going to put it in a oven and bake it? Are you going to do it in the crock pot? Or are you going to slice it up? Because you can pressure can a roast. Now put those in the and wash those because they got to be sanitized. You can put them in a slice it up and pressure can it, and this makes a fantastic burrito meat. Now I'm checking this out mainly to see how much fat is on here. Now I'm gonna leave this on this plate. Let me just dump the blood, because that blood's gonna, I'm putting the blood down the sink. I don't want to put it in my trash can. Okay. Make sure you start with clean table, clean utensils, clean hands. Now you see this, I know you can see that. This one has a bone in it. I personally like to make roast with bone. I purchase bones with the roast because I save the bones. I freeze them until I have a big 3 or 4 Ziploc gallon baggies full of that, so I can roast the bones and make some bone broth. So there's a big bone right there. But do you see that? I have to be careful because this thing is heavy and slick. See that meat right, that fat right there? So I'm going to cut some of this off because I'm choosing on this one here to, I always like to smell meat because you just never know. It smells good. I'm putting this in the crock pot, and I'm going to be removing the meat from the fat after it's been cooked. You could cook it on low for 8 hours, or you can cook it on high for 4 hours. It's totally up to you how you want to do it. But I know I'm going to be removing some of this fat, but I like to keep some fat on here because number one, there's just too much fat to begin with because this is a pork roast. Number two, the fat really brings out the flavor and the juiciness of the pork shoulder itself, the main meat. So I'm leaving some fat on there, but I'm not going to leave it all on there. It helps also if you have a very sharp knife, which this knife, it's time to get sharpened again, but right now this is all I have. Hubby's already gone to bed. And, you make do with what you got. Just be very, very careful if you don't have a sharp knife, okay? Because it's very easy for it to slide, and you can have an injury, and you don't want to do that. And I'm just yanking the extra skin just to take off the excess. I'm pulling on it just to get the little extra pieces. This is the one time you definitely need to use your patience. Work slowly but well. Don't rush it, because remember, you're dealing with a knife. Okay. And I'm basically just going to, and I'm trying to make sure I don't cut any meat off whatsoever. I just want the excess thick fat off. And I'm tugging with my left hand. So as I'm tugging, I'm cutting with my knife and getting 90% of just plain fat. See that? And you can see the little strips right here, but that's going to be totally fine. I'm good to go. I'm totally fine with that. This is a thin layer. You can feel it. I wish I could show you, but I can't show you. I'm going to leave that there. Ooh, this baby's heavy. Okay, I think I'm totally done with it. There's the bone. There's a piece of something. I don't know what this is. I think it's part of the intestine. But I could be wrong. But I'm cutting it off just because I'm not used to seeing this on a roast. You see that little part right there? I'm just going to tuck it off because plus it's also yucky dead blood. I'm not going to mess with it. I don't want to worry about it. Okay. Well, here's a big old chunk of thick fat. But it's really close to the bone. I'm just going to see if I can do a little bit of it. So it helps if you tug just a little bit, not a lot, just tug a little bit on the fat. So as you're cutting just the fat only, nothing else. Okay, I think well now here's a big chunk of fat right here. So you could have just done nothing. Just take the whole thing out of the bag, stick it in the crock pot, cooked it and go on. Because once it's cooked, it's really easy to pull the fat off of it. Because the meat just falls apart when it goes in the crock pot. This is one of the easiest and most juiciest ways to make a roast. Okay, so hands are gross. I'm not touching my camera because this is raw meat. So I'm gonna, excuse me, but I'm gonna let this go for a little bit. I'm gonna rinse my hands off really quick with some soap. I'm gonna come back. Actually, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna take back. But I wanted to show you, but I'm not gonna be able to because I got clean hands and hubby's not here. So I'm going to take this, it's right here in my island, on my counter, and I'm going to talk to you. And I'm going to, I don't think this is going to fit. I think this is too big. Yep, it's too big for my crock pot. Okay, so I'm going to have to cut it down. That's another thing, is when the piece of meat is too big for your crock pot, you just need to cut it down. So I'm very gently just going to cut this one end here because I think this is all I need. And this should be the part that does not have the bone in it. And I will just cut around it. And then this should fit in my crock pot. And then this I'll just put on top of the other meat. And it'll all still get cooked. Because you always put your lid on your crock pot. Let's see. Let me do, if I can see if I can get a little bit more cut. Because I want to make sure that I can cook all of this meat at one sitting. I don't want to do this in 2 sittings. I could, but I don't want to. And I'm not going into any bone. But you can kind of sort of see me. Okay. There we go. There we go. Now I know this part will fit in the crock pot. Okay, nothing's dripping. You don't want to get blood on your floor. Okay. That definitely will fit there. And there's no way this is going to fit. So I'm going to have to get my other, thank goodness I have 2 crock pots. I'm going to go get my other crock pot, but first before I do anything, I got to wash hands. So I'm leaving the camera rolling while I rinse my hands off. And so you'll be able to hear me. But then I'm going to pause you and go get the other crock pot. And we're going to have both of them going. I just got to grab some soap. Because whenever you're dealing with meat, raw meat of any kind, you always want to make sure you don't contaminate any surfaces. So you make sure you always have, I just washed my hands with soap. But here is, see that big chunk of meat? So let me bring you back, let me move this out of the way. Okay, I'm going to pause you and I'm going to bring the other crock pot. We'll be right back. Okay, we are back. And look at that. Here's my big chunk of roast. And then here's the other 2 pieces. So, if you get a chance, if you have the storage space and you have the money, definitely invest in 2 of everything. So now, and I had to do some little maneuvering with my clothespins because I want to make sure that the crock pot, the cords never got to the crock pot. So I did some maneuvering. But look at this. I had it, you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but it's awful dusty, so I got to wash that out. And then I'll put this on. So I'm going to turn this on to low. Let's see what time. Oh, okay, it's too late now. I'm going to put it on low. So we'll bring you back in the morning after about, it just takes about 7 to 8 hours to cook. This one probably is only going to take, the smaller one, because it's a smaller pieces of meat, it's probably only going to take 4 hours to do. But I'm going to cook it on low. I'm going to set my alarm and I'll double check it in 4 hours just to see how this one's going, because I may need to end up turning this one off and leave this one going because this is a bigger chunk of meat. Plus also the bone is in there. So we'll bring you back when we get to that next phase after I wash my lid and put it on the crock pot. We'll bring you back. Okay, we are back. This cooked sat in the fridge overnight. I just got 2 poops. Got 2 forks, but I don't think I'm going to need them. Here's that big chunk of the big piece of roast. 2 small little pieces I've already shredded and put in this, but I ran out of bowl. So my intention for all of this is to cook them in the slow cooker. Ooh, got little pieces of meat. Cook them in the slow cooker, or cook it the whole meat in the slow cooker to save on time. So I don't have to worry about being over a stove, on top of the stove in a pot, or in the stove, because it's Texas heat. It's in the high 90s, so it's too hot for the oven. So, but I wanted to show you on the bottom of it, when you flip it over, see that fat and that gel? That's what you get when it sits in the fridge overnight. So you can just scrape that off. And I've been using my fingers, but I'm not going to do it right now for the sake of the video. Scrape off all that fat. Now, let me show you. This is that plastic bag that I had to cover the bowl. This is the fat, leftover fat. This not most of this is fat. There's some meat on there, but I'm not going to worry about it because there's not that much. And all that's going to go in the garbage. If you have little critters on your home property, that's good food for the little critters. Like your goats, your pigs. You don't feed meat to, I'm pretty sure you don't feed meat to chicken, but I don't know. But anyway, the pigs would love it. I used to live on a mini farm, and that's how we used to give them some of their scraps for their little snacks in between their regular pig food. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and continue to shred all of this. I'm going to put them all in freezer quart-sized baggies. So 1 baggie will be enough for a meal. We'll be able to make either tacos, I'm going to make some barbacoa, put the barbacoa, season it all, and with the flavors, and then put that barbacoa over a bed of rice or over a baked potato. Again, like I said, you can then do another baggie. The reason I did this totally plain, with no salt, no seasoning, no nothing, is because I want to be able to do something else with this meat that's already cooked. So since it's already cooked, it's going to speed up the cooking process when I get ready to make a dinner with it. Dinner or lunch. This is just shredded, cooked pork shoulder is all this is. And you can make just about anything. If you want to chop it up, dice it up, blend it up, make them into patties. You can pretty much do anything with it because this is perfect for you to grind it up and make it into patties, hamburger patties. It's just ground pork. Well, it wouldn't be hamburger patties. It would be more like sausage patties and stuff. So, but anyway, there's just all kinds of things. So you take 4 or 8 hours of crock pot time, which really isn't costing you but maybe 5 minutes worth of work, putting everything into the crock pot, turning the crock pot on, put the lid on it, and walk away. And then coming back. Now, this part of shredding it, now this part is more time consuming because I've already done the 2 little small pieces that you saw that were on the other crock pot. And that did take me a good 45 minutes to shred and separate the fat from all this. Now, I'm going to show you right here. I am leaving some fat Because like when I make my barbacoa, you want a lot of some of that fat for that flavor when it's mixing with the spices and the seasonings in your frying pan. So you want some fat left in here because you don't know what you're going to do with it unless you already know in advance. Like some of this stuff, the one that has a lot of fat in it, I'm going to put that in the baggie that's labeled barbacoa. So that way all I have to do is add the spices, pieces of shredded meat in there, and I'm good to go, and then I'll have ready for a meal. See that? Okay, so we'll bring you back when I'm totally done because right now I'm going to get my hands greasy again and I don't want to have to touch my camera again. So we'll bring you back. But this particular time we're not going to do a taste test because this is prepping you for a future meals. Not just one meal, meals. Unless you have a large family, you need the whole thing. Okay, so we'll bring you back. Okay, we are back. And bear with me, let me pause my video. Oh, sorry. I like to watch a video while I'm just sitting here doing busy work. Okay, we are totally done. This was all the fat that I got. And I'm just using the same plastic wrap that I used to cover the bowls with. And I'm going to put all this in the garbage. I ended up with, look how clean I got that bone. Now I'm going to put this in the freezer bag with some other bones. And then when it's time, when I have enough, this is fat right here. When it's time for, when I have enough bags of bones, I will make some bone broth out of them. Right now I still have 2.5 dozen 1 pint jars, so I'm not in any rush to make it anytime soon. But it'll definitely be done within the next before the 6 months is up. Okay, I'm just cleaning some little extra stuff. So now I just want to show you one way to do this for those who don't know. I like to close my Ziploc almost all the way. I just leave a little lip, about that much. And then I lay it flat. I always write, because whenever you're doing cold stuff, the moisture from the cold gets to the bag, and a lot of times your Sharpie doesn't write very well. So label your bag before you put food in it. Then I'm squeezing it down. I'm trying to get all the meat in all the little corners of the baggie, because my goal, like most of us, is freezer space. So the thinner this is, the more freezer space I have in my freezer. And then with the excess, I poke one finger in there and make sure all the meat's down inside under the Ziploc part of the baggie. And then I make sure it's totally sealed. Now that's totally sealed. So I got 1, 2, 3 quart-sized bags, which for us, this is going to be 4 meals because it's dinner, and then, excuse me, sorry about that, and then the next time, it's lunches for the next day. So 2, no, that was, yeah, 2, 4, this is enough to make 6 meals of, like I said before, either tacos, barbacoa, put barbacoa. I love barbacoa, and it's really, I will be doing a video of me making the barbacoa mix with the seasonings and cooking it and doing the taste test and all that afterwards. Because a good barbacoa, it's just mouth-watering. My glands are already savoring right now. I'm getting water, just like, ooh, when it's really, really, really good. And what's nice, if you make enough, you have enough for the next day, which makes it great. So that's why I like to prepare enough for 2 meals, because for us to save time and money is we always make enough for dinner to have enough for leftovers. Except for like when hot dogs we only have enough because hubby and I don't care for hot dogs the next day for lunch. Anyway, and I've got my soup bowl. So my soup bone ready. My bone is ready to make bone broth. So thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next video. Take care now. Bye-bye. My little thumbnail. There we go.